Welcome back. So that's it. Olumide Oluwakitan. You know, I actually skipped it the first time because I didn't want Olumide giving me calls. Okay, Olumide representing the chairman of Channels Television, and we must put up at the visionary behind the Channels National Kids Cup, being honored as the grassroots football promoter for the year 2015. And that means we need to do more. We'll still stay with grassroots football development because we keep telling you that if it is right at that level, it will be admirable at the top. And that's why today on the show, we're going back to the basics. What do we need to do to make grassroots football admirable? Daniel Loda is a guest. He's an academy player, plays for Reading. He'll be talking to us this morning on ways we can develop grassroots football in the country. And then coming through the ranks in the UK, he has some lessons to tell us. Daniel, good to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
All right. And Daniel is also a Puma ambassador. Great one. Fantastic. Daniel, you play for Reading?
Yes, yeah,
okay.
That's right.
What's it about football at that level that makes it very, very important?
I think playing at that level, I think the kids just need to work as hard as they can. And in every training session, every match they play, they have to work and give 100%. And you know, they start playing from an early age, very early age. So they will bring them in at age 4, age 5, and just develop their skills from there. And they will keep developing and develop slowly, and just progressing slowly, so they can build up their skills and each part of the game, the physical and the technical, the psychological, each part of the game, they'll just keep progressing that.
Okay. Do you guys sometimes have the opportunity to actually rub shoulders with the big players?
At times, yeah. So we will have, at the training ground, the first team will be there as well. So we can, you know, get in around them and you know, ask them questions, and they'll help us, and you know, it's good to be around them.
All right, it's quite interesting. You talked about, you know, having to develop these talents from a very young age. You mentioned from the ages of 4, 5.
Yeah.
From that age, you know, well, you might say that perhaps, well, they're young, quite young, and really not knowing if they will definitely end up playing football, you know. But what does it really do, I mean, to the psyche, you know? Like you said, you talked about the psychological aspect, but really, how does it build them from such an early age to make them understand, you know, why they have to start so early?
I think the coaches and the parents also need to be encouraging in you know, they have to encourage them to play football.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily developing the skills very early like that. It's just more encouraging them to play football, and then they will get the enthusiasm for playing the game.
It's all about the enthusiasm now.
And then, you know, the coaches will help them develop the skills, and then.
But at a later stage, it now depends on them if they really want to further go on
and hopefully the coaches will inspire them to want to become a footballer.
All right.
You know.
Okay, now I saw some pictures of you. You were quite young in that one, the first one that was shown. How old were you when you started playing football?
I was about 5 when I started playing football. Really? I played football at the age of 4, but I started at a team at the age of 5.
Okay. As a team player, at 5.
At 5. And you really understood what that was about at that age?
I'm not sure I did, but
okay.
That was why I asked that question.
Tell us about it.
So actually, I was quite shy at first, and I didn't want to play with the other kids. I would play on my own, sit on the side and play on my own. But I eventually got into it, and you know, it was really good. The first when I started playing football in the team, it was really fun. I won lots of competitions, lots of trophies. It's just really good.
Yeah. So how many goals have you scored? Because there's some players that maybe at 5, 6, 7, you hear people saying they've scored like 10 goals in one particular match and all that.
Well, yeah, you start off by scoring a lot of goals in the matches, but then, yeah, as you get older, it gets harder to score, like, you know.
Is that your favorite position? Striking?
Strikers, yes, that's my favorite position.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know most kids would always want to be strikers.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, the coaches will have to tell you, look, I think you're better in this position.
Yeah.
So
if you're not,
you don't think that's going to change later on?
I don't think so. I mean, I can play in quite a few positions, but I think striker is my favorite position.
Your forte.
Yeah.
So how many goals have you scored? I'll ask that question again.
Honestly, I don't know how many goals I've scored.
So
it's yeah.
Very many.
Yeah, one I can't remember, and two I've scored quite a few goals.
But in a particular game, what's the highest score? I mean,
I think I've scored 6 in one game.
In one game, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I want to
Okay, Daniel, I see you wear the English jersey. You've represented England.
I have, yeah.
At what level?
Under 16.
Under 16 level. Okay, so explain your ties with Nigeria to us. Let's understand.
Because that name, Daniel Loader, sounds pretty English.
Yeah, so my dad is British,
Okay.
and my mum is half Cameroonian, half Nigerian.
Okay.
Wow.
So I can play for either of those three.
You can play for either of the three.
Any of those three, yeah.
But right now you play for only England.
Yeah.
No, it's getting interesting, guys. Okay.
Yeah, in the future, I'm not sure. I could play for Nigeria. I could play for Cameroon. I could play for England.
But if you're to
No,
pick
we put
between
okay.
no, if you're to pick between Nigeria
maybe
or
let's make it
Cameroon,
easy
where
for
would
him.
you want to play?
Okay. Let's make it easy for him. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure you'll be aware of Nigeria's exploits, at
Yeah.
youth great competitions.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about
I
the
had
likes
the
of the
one.
Golden Eaglets, and all of that.
Won under 17
Compare
World
that
Cup
with the
5
Cameroon.
times.
Yeah, compare that with Cameroon or even England. You know.
Yeah.
So where would you? It's all about
Probably
winning-
Nigeria then.
winning-
Probably Nigeria, because I saw they
You're
won
probably
that
Nigeria.
under 17
I like
World
it.
Cup. Yeah. They
Okay.
won.
Are you rooting for Nigeria?
Yeah.
Talk to me about what you know about Nigerian football. Some of the ex-internationals. Who are the guys you look at?
I think one of the guys that I mainly look at is JJ Okocha.
Fantastic.
I think,
Wow.
I think he's a
Fantastic.
fantastic footballer. Some of the skills he has, and you just see him, and you just want to be like him. Some of the skills and some of the goals he scored is just amazing, and I think he's one of the top players that you'll see in African football.
Can you perfect some of the skills that he had? I mean, you watching him play and in these videos and all that.
Yeah.
Can you perfect some of those skills?
I can, yeah, just a few of them. Yeah.
Just a few.
Yeah, just a few, but not. Of course, I need to keep developing those skills. But yeah, no, I do watch him and learn from him.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, you at this particular age, you're trying to actually make some contribution to grassroots sport development. So what are you planning to do?
Well, to the channel's National Kids Cup,
Kid Cup.
I'm giving some jerseys and some boots. So I just want them to, just
I don't know if it
enjoy
was
that.
right. I was about to give you a round of applause for that. But I'll just say thank you so much.
That's okay.
Because
No, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
So really, permit me. You look at football, grassroots football development. From your experience in England, you have the wherewithal in terms of facilities, using the facilities. But coming down here, we might say that it's still a challenge. What do you think can be done to ensure that we have?
I think it's largely dependent on the coaches and how they inspire the kids to play, and it's also dependent on the kids on how much they want to become a footballer.
Okay.
And they need to be learning from and seeing top players now in professional football, and they need to be inspired by them. And also they need to be brought in quite early, like at the age of 4 and 5, so that they can, like I said, develop the skills from early and then just keep progressing then.
So in other words, you might say that perhaps when you talk about the league systems now, like in England we have feeder teams giving kids opportunities at various clubs to make a market. We can bring that as well down here.
I think so.
in the
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it's also the facilities in England. Obviously, it's better, but I think it doesn't really matter about the facilities, because it's just the enthusiasm from the kids. It's the mindset that they want to become footballer.
Yeah, they have to show the passion and the interest.
Yeah,
that's key.
We must say thank you so much, Daniel Loda. Particularly, thank you so much for contributing to the development of the channel's National Kids Club. And maybe someday we should also have you around as an ambassador. Come talk to the kids.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That's right. We'd like to have you around. Thank you so much for coming around. And we're still waiting. You'll give us an answer. Maybe not now. Whether you play for Nigeria or not, I have to whisper it so that the English people won't hear.
Football is about winning trophies. That's, judging from what we've achieved compared with the Cameroonians and, of course, England. So you might.
Today is the APR for Nigeria. All right, thank you so much, Daniel Loda. It was fun discussing grassroots football development with Daniel Loda. He's an academic player with Reading and started playing football at 5. Now he's just 15. He's 15, so we can't even talk much about his professional career and even contracts he has with Reading. He started playing at 5. He's 15. He has played football for 10 years. Grassroots football development. Nothing beats it. At 20, he's already a massive football star. Let's go on a quick break now. When we come back, you think you've heard anything on the show this morning? The president of the Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, is standing by. Will join us as we review football in Nigeria in 2015. Don't go anywhere. Stay.
But let me hasten to say this here. Because when a team does not do well, everybody calls for the heads of the players and the coaches, not knowing that some of these failures emanate from administrative lapses. You remember what happened in Brazil? Players going on strike and a lot of confusion. Were these technical matters? So some of these problems are administrative. Even when we are talking about development program, who is supposed to put the environment in place? It is the administrators. So there is no doubting the fact that we have quality talents in this country. And we have some intelligent coaches who can handle them. But they must have the support of the administrators. And this support must be objective. And that is why it amazes me when people talk, well, we are going to hire foreign coach. I know why they are, going for foreign coaches. Because of the sharing formula or whatever it is. Otherwise, personally, I should be unhappy anytime anybody is talking about going out to bring a foreign coach into this. So why? Not because I want to be there, but because when Nigeria was going to perform an experiment as to whether or not a Nigerian could handle the national team, I was the guinea pig. And up to today, nobody has said that my tenure was a failure. So are you now? If coaches, I have been involved in assessment of coaches, interview and so on, and I know what has been happening. I was part of an interview of coaches. We made a recommendation. The man who came third was selected. And now if that man fails, you now blame it on Nigerian coaches.